Hello, I want to welcome you to today's interview for how to play the game of college. As I state every week, I'm just always excited about the guests that donates their time. I know the guys that I'm interviewing are very busy and doing a lot of great things day to day here in the city of Memphis. And as I mentioned, a lot of times when we look at post-secondary, right, how to play the game of college, a big part of that is our community partners. Many times we only look at our district K-12 or we look at our colleges here in the area. But a lot of their work in really helping our students to navigate those different pathways from early ages, such as kindergarten through post-secondary, comes in the form of our nonprofits here in the city and our community organizations. A lot of times I hear, man, we don't have anything to do in the city, or there's no one here to support. And so I want to highlight organizations like tonight or today, such as Mr. Robin Dixon. And so, man, welcome to the podcast today, man.
Bless you, Dr. Boyd. Thank you for having me. Such an honor to be here. Again, I admire you. Thank you for all that you do. So it's an honor to be here on the podcast with you.
Man, and same to you, man. Again, the great work that you will talk about doing a podcast. I'm just always in awe of the great things that you're doing. And man, this is just the beginning. It's going to keep going up and up, the great work that you're doing for our young man. And so, Robin, before we get started, I'd like for folks to know who's Robin, right? I feel like everybody in Memphis knows you, man, and knows the great work that you're doing through this organization. But let's put the organization aside for a moment. Tell us, who is Mr. Robin Dixon?
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Boyd. Robin Dixon, just a humble servant from a country town called Crawfordville, Arkansas, that moved to Memphis. Wasn't awarded a lot of opportunities, but I was blessed to learn about college from a guidance counselor in my 11th grade year, going to my 11th grade year. And that what made me come to Memphis. She told me how to apply for applications, financial aid, and here I made the decision to come to Memphis. And ever since, the rest is history. I've been to Memphis ever since. But anyway, I have a family of, my wife, Casey, my son, Carson, my daughter, Kinsley. So I'm a family man, God-fearing man. And I just want to sow some seeds, and those seeds are, again, the children here in Memphis, the young men that I'm passionate about working with and passionate about developing and, growing them to become honorable and productive young men. God put it on my heart and revealed my organization in a dream. And again, I just wanted to be obedient, wanted to be responsive to what I was shown in my dream. And that's how the birth of developing Noblemen Academy came. So I'm the executive director of this small mentoring organization. We are small in size, but our heart is huge and it's in the right place. So we have been impacting and working with young boys from the age of 6 to 17 since 2016, actually. So the organization was founded in 2015. And we became a tax-exempt organization in 2016. So I'm the executive director, and I've just been trying to take this organization to the next level. So I've been working with about 60 to 80 boys a year, going up to 2020. And then come 2023, we have jumped to 100 young men that's in our program.
That's great. That's great. That's great to hear, Robin. And again, man, I love how you start out by saying that, you thank your guidance counselor who helped to get you to college. So in the book, I actually dedicated the book at the beginning to one of my high school teachers who's passed actually last year, man, 23. But if it was not for a teacher, or in your case, a guidance counselor, school counselor, to help us to navigate, because I'm a first generation college student. A lot of times people don't know that. And so I knew I wanted to get to college, but having the resources, right, to get there. If you don't know, you just don't know, right? Exactly. And so teachers, man, organizations like yours, developing Noblemen Academy, are so important to helping our youth, especially young men and men of color, to get to college. Yes. So, man, hats off to you. And I know you told us a little bit of how, the organization got started, developing Noblemen Academy. It was a vision of God, man. And I love that, and I could so relate. Can you tell us more? I know you do so many things, man, from your summer programs to You have Saturday workshops. The list goes on and on. Can you talk about some of the initiatives that you're doing with the young man?
Absolutely. So we have been working with different schools. One of the schools, Memphis Merit Academy and Grizzlies Prayer, we have after school programs there. So we go in weekly to work with those young men, help develop them. We do one-on-one mentoring. We go through everything that a young person, a young man should learn. A lot of times people say, well, a young man should know how to properly groom, know about hygiene, know how to set a budget,
Yeah.
understand, literacy. A lot of times they really don't. So we go
True.
in, and reinforce some of the teachings. We go in there and try to empower them and educate them on some of the things that are going to be essential as they grow.
And
So again, after school programs, we have Saturday workshops. We actually just finished a financial literacy and
all good.
entrepreneur workshop last week. A great turnout. Some of the young men had the opportunity to pitch some of their sales ideas.
All
We
good.
talked
Yeah.
about personal branding, everything that embodies, a young, successful man. We
Yeah.
we try to instill those traits in them. We
Man.
have our Noblemen camps every summer. We actually in the planning stages now for our Noblemen camps. We do a ton of community service. We teach the boys about, it's all about building character. A lot of the boys,
Yeah.
they never went out and fed the homeless. We teach them
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
humility, teaching
Yeah.
them how to treat everybody with dignity and respect. Some of the things, again, that some things that you say should be taught.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times it's not taught. It's not in
So
their homes.
true.
They don't see it.
Yeah.
So they really mimic and mirror what they see on the internet, what they see in their communities, and
Yeah.
a lot of times it's negative. So we try
Right.
to be that positive light and try to guide them and try to show them this is how you should walk and show them how you should move as you navigate through this thing called life.
Man, you just said a lot there, and I get excited. Your organization, developing Noblemen Academy, is one of my favorite. I'm not just saying it because you're on the call, man, but I've seen and witnessed firsthand just the great work that you're doing. The young man here in Memphis, man, and like you said, those were the soft skills, right? So,
Oh,
how to
absolutely.
tie, how to manage your budget, just
Yes,
things that
sir.
again, a lot of times we take it for granted, right? That people, like you said, just we feel like they should know. But me working in post-secondary, we get a lot of those students there that don't know how to write an email or don't even, don't know personal hygiene, it's just different things like that. So the work that you're doing, man, it's just
Man,
it's a lot. It's awesome.
and
Yeah,
Dr. Boyd, financial literacy is like one of my focus areas because I watched how my family they struggled. I
yeah,
always saw them rob Peter to pay Paul,
yeah,
things that I should even know about as a kid, but
yeah.
I witnessed it firsthand on how they struggled. And I said, well, if somebody had taught my parents, they probably won't be in the predicament they was in when I
So
was
true.
growing up. And
Yeah,
I said, and I pledged, I made a promise that I'd never, be a slave to debt.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and I said, I want to teach this to somebody else, another young man, because again, it wasn't taught to me. I kind of, I learned the hard
Have to
way,
learn. Yeah.
especially, again, when I was in
Same
college.
here. Same here.
When
Yeah.
I was in college, your first year of college, they start sending you
Right.
those mailings like Visa,
Right.
the
Yeah.
Macy's.
You get
At
a
the
free
time, it was
T-shirt, right?
Goldsmith.
You sign up for a credit card. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, they was telling me, hey, go ahead and use this card and you just got to send us $30 a month. And I said, oh, that's all I got to send you,
Right.
$30 a month. Nobody talked to me about the
That's the
interest rates.
interest.
Nobody talked
Yeah.
about me
Yeah.
about all that debt that's accumulating. And I'm
Exactly.
just sending them $30 a month and it's not
Right.
cutting into that, that total cost at all.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to educate them to be successful, position them how to be successful, become successful. So financial literacy was like one of the cornerstones of
Yeah.
this organization. So I think
Man.
it's so important.
Hats off again to your brother, man. Everything you said, I could just, I can amen on this call, man, because it's so important. And so, one big thing, man, I believe, especially when we talk about, our young men, and man, it's always, man, it's depressing at times, right? The work
Oh,
in education that I've been doing over 17 years, and looking at the data, it shows that Black men are 20 points below their white male counterpart when we talk about college going rates, right? So that means they're not going to college,
right.
And so it leads us to say, a lot of times, they do or make decisions that are not the best decisions because you got to survive, right? And if you don't have that knowledge or those pathways, right, talking about the different post-secondary credentials, a lot of times that's where our young men fail. And so, again, organizations like this is so huge. Do you mind sharing, Robin, number one, the career that you're in? I think it's so important for folks to know about the different careers. One of my mentors, Dr. Russ Wigginton, president of the National Civil Rights Museum, we just had a talk a few weeks ago, and he said, hey, a lot of times we just don't know what's behind door number two. We were only shown door number one.
That's
And so I
right.
think it's good for them to hear, careers like ours to say, you can do that too. Can you talk about your career now and how you got there?
Absolutely. Just a little background, just context. I changed my major 3 times, so I definitely want the
Man,
kids to know, students to know, hey,
same here.
you're gonna make decisions, and you're gonna change
Yeah.
your mind. So that comes with the territory sometimes. But I started as an engineer major, so I thought I
Okay.
wanted to do engineering. Thought I was in the Herf College of Engineering, and I slowly transitioned from engineering as because I'm more of a people person, wanted to, go and interact with different people.
Yeah.
So I switched it from engineering to marketing. So my career now, I work at FedEx as the chief of staff for our IT enablement architecture department. So what
Okay.
that entails, a lot of data analytics, a lot of program management, a lot of project management, a lot of PowerPoint presentations, and again, just knowing how to work and deal with people. So I talk to people probably at the VP level most of the time, director
Nice.
level,
Yeah.
basically just going through our strategy, our different initiatives that's set, before us for the year, and I make sure we execute. I follow up, follow through, and I also, again, just manage the project. So doing that for about 4 years now. Before that, I was in marketing. So overall, I've been at FedEx for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Before FedEx, I was at St. Jude. I was
Okay.
at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and well, actually ALSAC. So I was in, again with the marketing, with the donor account, and managing donor accounts, and understanding the different mailings, so St. Jude can receive donations.
Mm,
So from St. Jude, back up before St. Jude, I was at this company called Credo Health Group, which
yeah.
is now like a Merck Medco company or a Cigna company. So I was in healthcare for a minute as a business analyst, and again, I was at UPS. First job was at UPS. UPS actually
Wow.
came to a career fair
Okay.
when I was at University of Memphis. So
Wow.
again, I was
Yeah.
trying to navigate what I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
I saw FedEx, UPS, and all these great companies at a career fair at the college campus of University of Memphis, and my intent was to go work for FedEx. And I stopped at FedEx table and I didn't get a call back. So as soon as I leave from FedEx table, UPS, they stopped me and they say, hey, what you doing going to those guys' table? We the bigger company, the bigger and better company. And I like, are you I say, are you sure? Because Memphis, you see FedEx
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in fact, UPS was the bigger company, and
Right.
so I ended up filling out an application, sent my resume, and I get a call back from them like a week later. They had me as a operations supervisor starting out in training.
Wow. Okay.
And I worked in the IE, which is the industrial engineering department. So it basically, you learn how long it takes for a package to get from one side of the building to the other side, take it from, and
Yeah.
get it loaded up on that truck and get it delivered. So
Yeah.
the engineers, they play a pivotal role in doing that. But anyway, that's a little background about my career.
Yeah.
And I love the career and excited about it, what I do now. But my passion is working with these young men and developing them.
Man, it's so great. And I love how you said, I think a lot of times, especially we think about young people, they just think, hey, we always had it together and we just knew, hey, we knew what was going to be next. And I like how you even started off by saying I changed majors, 2 or 3 times, right?
Oh,
That was
absolutely.
not the end of the world, right? And we talk about that in the book, How to Play the Game of College. The average time is 3 to 4 times that folks change, right?
Right.
It's also, I love how you even, man, you dropped so many gems in that one thing that you just said, but going to a career fair, right? So getting out and getting engaged, getting involved, networking, and how it can provide opportunities. Your thing was what? I want to do FedEx, but then UPS grab you up. But look at
That's
you now,
right.
you're FedEx. And so everything that happened, happened because it was supposed to happen, right? And so I think the lesson that I'm hearing and listening to, Robin, is, hey, we might not have it all together, right? It might look a mess to most folks, but how things, when you're strategic and you're disciplined, man, things just happen, and you're trying to really make that next step happen in your life, man. So
Absolutely.
again, thank you for sharing it, man. I think it's going to be so important for folks to hear just how you got to Robin Dixon 4.0 in 2024, man, which is
Yeah.
huge, man.
And Noob,
Yeah,
if I can say one thing
yeah,
to encourage our young people that hopefully
man.
they'll listen to this
And that's my
podcast.
next question. Like, you look,
I
that's great.
I pray that they listen. I hope that it
Yeah,
doesn't fall on deaf ears, but they have to become, like you said something that was, I think is just key, networking.
yeah,
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Go talk to
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Open your mouth. It's not just going to be given to you.
So
I
true.
got hired in marketing at FedEx because of my personality, because I didn't
Mm,
stay quiet. I didn't stay
yeah,
silent.
yeah,
I opened my mouth. I talked. I smiled. Many times today, if you look at some of the young people today, they always frowning.
yeah,
Like they smell
yeah.
something that don't smell too good.
Right.
And they frowning all the time. Why you angry? Why you so upset? You
Yeah,
unapproachable.
yeah. So
And
true.
nobody want to talk to you because you're
Yeah,
unapproachable. You look unapproachable. So
man.
smile a little bit, go talk, just get out of your comfort zone and just try to network with people. And again, I didn't even interview. The lady already said, I was going
Yeah,
to hire you anyway just because of your personality. Didn't
man.
even see my background, my skill
Yeah,
set.
yeah,
She just knew that I had the right personality for the job.
man.
So I encourage every young person that's out there, smile, go talk to people, get out of your comfort zone and go
Yeah.
talk to people.
So true. So, man, you just said so much right there. And again, my next question was one piece of advice for youth, and man, I couldn't agree more. Really step outside your comfort zone. Ask for help. There's a chapter in
Yeah,
the book,
yes.
right? I still at 43, man, I'm asking for help, right? And if we think about, I feel like a lot of your work, and this would be the last question, Robin, is around mentorship, right? When we think about mentors in this word, let's flip it. Who's your mentor and why?
Wow. My mentor, other than, some of the people that I see in
Yeah.
everyday, like I take you, for example, Dr. Boyd, not because you on the call, you inspire me,
Yeah.
just the way you move, the way you, again, a family man. I see you with your lovely wife and your two kids. I see how you are business savvy. And I learn from, you never know who's watching you, right? So
So true.
I'm watching
So
you.
true.
I'm
Yeah.
watching you. I watch other great leaders that's around the city. Mayor Paul Young, I look at him
Yeah.
as a great leader. I look
Yeah.
at so many different people and I learn from them. Some of the leaders that's at FedEx, Jason Campbell,
Yeah.
one of my
Yeah.
directors now, vice president. I look up to him and admire him. So it's so many that I can name. I'm always a student of learning. So
Yeah.
if you are blessed in the presence of being around somebody, try to be a sponge and soak up so much information.
So true.
And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention, some of my fraternity brothers, like
Yeah.
Dr. Jason,
Yeah.
brother Jason Harris. Uh,
Yeah.
brother Jason Harris, he got me to wearing suits. I
Man,
I
same
remember
here.
like it was yesterday. It was
Yeah.
several years ago, over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I walked in to New York Suit Exchange
Yeah.
and I saw how well groomed and distinguished he was.
Always. Yeah.
And I was like, man, well, I don't own no suits, but I like to dress like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I go and talk to him, and the rest is history. He started, showing me different, ensembles to put together, just different, way to finesse, your attire. And ever since, I was like, man, if I never met brother Jason
Yeah.
Harris, I don't
Yeah.
think I'll be into fashion, into grooming, and to looking the way that I look when I step out. So
So
I
true. So
created a lot
true.
of that to brother Harris.
Man, man. And again, man, that's so huge. And I like how you're mentioning different people, right? And so I think that's what mentorship is about. Like, hey, I'm gonna take this piece from this person. I take this from this person. And man, again, echo the same thing you said, man. Again, you're one that I watch and I'm like, man, I'm learning, man. I see your passion and what you're doing, and I'm inspired. And so again, hats off to you and the other great men I just talked to. Mr. Campbell this morning in the gym at 6:30.
See?
I was, man, and that's how mentorship works. I'm in the gym and this idea popped in my head, like just random. Just my mind works like that. Like I could be sleeping, I wake up, but I was in the gym at 5:30 and this idea, and I'm like, let me hit Jason up and see what he thinks. And so he responded back and was like, hey, dude, that's great, man. Let's send an email, you know. And so again, that's what mentorship represents, man. And so again, I always agree a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So
Yes,
man,
sir. That's
as
right.
much as possible, get around people who's trying to go, you know, the same direction you're trying to go, do some similar things, man, because no,
I love
this
it.
is transport moment, man. It could be lonely. Like when you're doing this work, man, day to day, you know, sleep is limited. You know, you're kind of question why I'm doing this, right?
Oh man,
Man,
it
man,
creeps in, it creeps into my mind. It
yeah,
does get challenging.
yeah,
It's a load that's on your
yeah,
back, but I keep moving,
yeah.
and God give me the strength to
So true.
keep pushing.
Yeah,
He never said this road is going to be easy.
man,
It's definitely less travel. A lot of
so
people
true.
they give up, and and that's one thing I vowed not to give up. I'm not
Hmm.
going to give up on these young men.
Yeah,
They lead us. My prayers and the call to action. I want so many men, like-minded men, to
yeah,
come and help pull a young man. Pull him up.
yeah,
If you see
yeah,
him going the wrong way, try to redirect him. Man, I understand.
man.
We in Memphis. I understand. Like your safety. You concerned about your safety. Like, well, I can't
Mhm.
talk to him. If I say something to him, they want to do this to me. And I get it. God give you that spirit of discernment. He let you know
Yeah,
who you can and
yeah,
cannot talk to, and
so
that's what
true.
I learned. He
Right.
know. I hear something where he tells me, "No, you good. Keep walking." Or he said,
Yeah,
"No, go ahead and
yeah.
talk to that young man right there."
Hmm.
So don't say that
Man,
you can't. You can, brother. Come on. We
man.
need you. If not my program, go find another program to help
Yeah,
change the
yeah.
narrative about young black and brown boys in our city.
Man, I think I'm gonna rename this podcast new to How to Play the Game of College Baptist Church. Man, you just dropped some gems. I could drop the mic, man. So again, man, again, I say that in laughter, but man, it was so many great things that you said. And my prayer is that who's ever watching this podcast, students, parents, folks in the community, number one, they know more about developing noble men, and just that we have some great things and great people like yourself here in the city who's fighting for our youth every day. And they're not giving up,
That's
despite
right.
what the news says. They're getting up and making it happen. So again, I call you Noop. Y'all probably figured out my fraternity brother. Noop, man, appreciate you for taking the time out today and being on the podcast.
Dr. Boyd, it was a complete honor. Thank you for having me.
Man, appreciate you. And just real quick, where can they find out more information about your organization?
Yes, sir, Dr. Boyd. They can find us at www.dna-memphis.org, or they can give
Okay.
us a call at 901-231-9707.
Man, appreciate that. And to the listeners, thank you for joining me every Wednesday. Again, I'm bringing some heat this time. I'm bringing some great guests, as you just saw with Mr. Dixon. So again, I want to invite you to share this video, comment. Mr. Dixon is going to be watching the video. He's going to reply to your comments. I'm volunteering, you know.
That's all good.
And again, just share with other people. Like you said, we want everyone to have this knowledge, and we want to kind of go against that. Memphis doesn't have great organizations in place to
Right.
really support our youth. This is a living testimony of what y'all heard today. We got some great things going on. So again, thank you for taking the time out, Noop. And again, I'll see you viewers next week. Thank you.
Absolute blessing. Thank you, Dr. Boyd. Have a good one.